The long-loved tale as old as time has been given life again on stage, unlike anything we've ever seen before, with all the charm and elegance fans expect from Belle and her Beast. You heard us. The Beauty and the Beast musical is coming back again next year, and we now have a new location to look forward to. Continue watching to discover the lucky locals and all the details we know. First up, where is it returning? The show is currently up on London's West End, before it heads to enchant Bristol and Ireland later this year. But when June 2023 finally comes at Sydney's Capitol Theatre, you should expect 3 words to ring out loud and clear. Be our guest. The Australian grand opening season of Disney's musical with Belle and her friends is returning down under as a newly reimagined and remodeled production, and will take place at the Harbour City venue. The classical, timeless love fused with amazing new sets, beautiful costumes, and the latest technology will bring back to life the romance of the princess with her Beast, this time by an all-Australian cast. They'll be performing with all the grandeur that one can expect from a Disney musical. Next summer, the Capitol Theatre will be flooded with Disney fans from all over the world, and let us tell you, it'll be magical. So, it's been a lucky year for Sydneysiders. The year 2022 has so far been shaping up to be a big one for musical theater in Sydney. After a few difficult years, some seriously big hitters have breathed a new life into the live theater industry. Disney, in particular, has had a successful run, with the big hits such as Mary Poppins and Frozen the Musical taking the spotlight. The awe-striking production has arguably been Disney's most successful musical, having been played in 13 countries and over 100 different cities since Broadway in 1994. Sydneysiders will be lucky to be invited as their guests, as we finally get a taste of the magic next year. So, what about other cities? Is there a chance for Melbourne to be blessed with a musical appearance? It's a big possibility that a Melbourne run will be announced later, since the same happened with Agatha Christie's The Mousetrap. It was planned only for Sydney, but will now be coming to Melbourne's Comedy Theatre in 2023. So, if you live in this city, keep an eye out for some good news. Now, who will be taking charge behind the scenes? So, the original creative team will come back for this recreated production, which is very exciting. When the production company first premiered Beauty and the Beast on Broadway 28 years ago, this very team received 5 Tony nominations and a win for Hold Ward's costume design. Matt West will be the main director and choreographer for the performance. Then we've got Alan Menken, the composer, Tim Rice, the lyricist, and Anne Hold Ward, the designer, who will team up for a spectacular show. We suggest you all get ready to sing along to your favorite songs from the movie. Next up is what Disney has to say about it. Okay, so the president and producer of Disney's theatrical productions, Thomas Schumacher, said they're so excited to bring it back to Australia with a new version recreated by the original team. He added that the beloved show, along with Princess Belle herself, for some reason, is still relevant today, as they were back in 1991 when the film first came out. Probably even more meaningful now to us old-timers who discovered the musical magic of the movie decades ago, and to a whole new generation. He went on to say that every time they have visited the country over the last 20 or so years, the audiences grow bigger and bigger, and people seem to be more appreciative to the pool of amazing homegrown musical talent, which has gotten deeper. It's safe to say that the team is really happy to be going back. And what does this mean for New South Wales? The NSW Premier, Dominic Perrottet, had a few things to say as well. He said that he thinks Sydney is the home of world-class theater in the country, and they are anticipating that this production will draw over 400,000 musical fans to Harbour City. It's true that bringing blockbuster musicals such as Beauty and the Beast to this city first is critical to boosting the state's visitor economy. This production will produce millions of dollars in visitor spending, create jobs, and position Sydney as the Asia-Pacific cultural events capital. Even the Minister of Tourism and the Arts said that this Disney production is an international sensation, having been seen by over 35 million people in 13 countries. And since Sydney is a theater city, and this reinvention of one of the world's most beloved musicals will enchant dilettante original production fans, it'll also captivate a new generation of fans. All in all, it seems like bringing this magic to the stage in Sydney will bring good to the city all around. Let's dive into what this piece of art is about. The show, as you must know, is based on the 1991 film of its name. It's the first animated movie ever to be nominated for an Academy Award for Best Picture. That's not surprising to us. It's a masterpiece, and we must have watched it a million times. Ever since 1994, when it first hit Broadway, it ran for over 13 years on Broadway before closing in 2007. What's more, it's still one of the top 10 longest-running shows in the musical performance platform's history 28 years later. The live-action retelling of the classic original, starring Emma Watson, soon became the highest-grossing live-action musical movie ever. It was only surpassed by The Lion King's live-action release in 2019, which was wonderful too. We really can't get enough of these. Let's talk about its Australian-specific performances. The Princess Theatre in Melbourne hosted the first Australian production of Beauty and the Beast in 1995, starring Rachel Beck as Belle, a fresh-faced Hugh Jackman as Gaston, and of course, the late Bert Newton as Cogsworth. The production ran for over 2 years in Melbourne and Sydney, winning the ARIA Award for Best Australian Soundtrack, cast and show release in 1996. We wish we were there for it, and Disney has really been making history with these musicals. The layout and tone of the tale were what made Disney history. It was envisioned for the 1991 film by the executive producer and lyricist, with an evolving nature for the Broadway adaptation just 3 years later. Only once before, in Menken and Ashman's previous musical film, the much-loved The Little Mermaid, was a Disney film structured like a stage musical, with songs that were actually relevant to the plot and characterization, rather than just being ornamental or fillers. This innovation is credited with the Disney animation renaissance of the 90s, which created wonderful films like Aladdin, The Lion King, and The Hunchback of Notre Dame that literally shaped some of our childhood. It also helped to reintroduce the book's musical form to pop culture as we see it today. But sadly, we don't have any specifics. You must be wondering, who will star in the local version? And when will tickets go on sale? And will it tour other Aussie cities? We're sorry to say, we don't know. These details are yet to be revealed, but we totally understand if you're already booking a trip to Sydney to visit the Capitol Theatre in June. Even if you don't live there already, we'd probably do the same. And if you're crossing your fingers for Melbourne, Brisbane, and Adelaide sessions too, we don't blame you. Also, another completely appropriate reaction is to re-watch the original animated film, including a new sing-along version that's now available on Disney+, and/or relive the 2017 live-action film, which is also gaining the at-home karaoke treatment. Do what you gotta do. Now onto other related news. The She-Hulk boss talks about Spider-Man cameo rumors. You must have already heard of She-Hulk Attorney at Law, if not already seen it. You might know there have been rumors going around that Tom Holland, aka Spider-Man, might be featured in the show. A handful of other Marvel heroes are already confirmed to be showing up, like Abomination, Wong, and Matt Murdock. But what about the web slinger? The head writer, Jessica Gao, put out the fire on the rumors of Spidey coming on her show. It's not like they didn't think of it. It would have been a fun idea to bring them into the She-Hulk world, but it just wasn't possible. He's already stuck in that Sony Marvel gray area, and bringing him to Disney wouldn't be easy. Still, you shouldn't worry. There still is some hope. While Gao is probably not lying to us, Spider-Man's rights are still shared between Sony and Marvel in a confusing and complex legal argument. Those working in the Marvel universe have been known to bamboozle fans when it comes to cameos. For example, Andrew Garfield flatly denied resurrecting his old Amazing Spider-Man role prior to his appearance in Spider-Man No Way Home. So yeah, anything can happen, and we hope it does. That's a wrap for this video. Will you be catching the Beauty and the Beast show in Australia? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.